News Radio, WAB 1180, welcomes you to The Seniors Rock Show. The Seniors Rock Show, a lively weekly discussion, shedding a bright light on aging with fun, entertainment, and important info for all adults. Join us with your comments or questions. Call or text 222-1180 or 1-800-295-1180. Now, from the News Radio WAM 1180 studios in downtown Rochester, here's your host, Joanna Palvino.
Well, hello and welcome to Seniors Rock Radio. I am Joanna, your host, and I'm here with Mike Robinson. He's my co-host and also an estate planning attorney, and Pam up there in the tower in the studio, and she's going to bring us all together. We have two guests today that are really going to be interesting, and it'll be an interesting show for sure because these women are making a difference in families' lives right here in our area. They are Lauren Getz of Everyday Hands, that's the name of her company, and Lindsay Penrose from Benefit Reps of America. Now, Lindsay's been on before. She is a Medicare specialist, always a delight. So both are passionate about what they do, just like us, and they volunteer their time to be active in the GRAPE organization. If you're a regular listener, you know what that is. It's the Greater Rochester Area Partnership for the elderly. And is it of or for? I can't remember. Do you guys know?
It's what?
For.
Org.
Okay. Anyway, both are passionate. Like I said, they're both members of the GRAPE organization, and that is a community of a whole lot of people that are working together. There's about 300 of us or more, and we work together out in the field here in the Rochester area and surrounding, Finger Lakes and so on. And we're all in different areas of elder care, but we work together. And it's a great organization for networking, but there's also a lot of serious stuff happening, and including service work that we do for needy areas. There's all kinds of committees for things like that. And we have a yearly legislative town hall meeting. And that is a big one because that's where we bang the truck or the drum. We bang the drum for our area's share of funding for families and and elders and us. So, we're all going to be there someday if we're not there already. We're all aging, that's for sure. So that is a very important event that we do with GRAPE, and we do it at Nazareth University. We did it last month. We had some important speakers, legislators from both local and state level, but also including two students. And I love that because we need to have younger people getting into this field. Those students told their stories and why they were interested in geriatrics at this event. So I'd like to do a quick shout out to Dr. David Stites. He's the head of the outstanding geriatric program at Nazareth. And if you want to learn more about the Greater Rochester Area Partnership for the Elderly, that's what it is, go to grapeelder.org. And that's grapeelder with one E in the middle. .org. It's a great place to meet people and to learn. So speaking of learning, I do learn a lot at the GRAPE meetings. I always talk about that and all the people there. It's great. But I also learn a lot from you, Mr. Mike Robinson. And we learn things about life in general, but about estate planning generally, and or more importantly, and that's your expertise. So it's great to see you and your smiling face on this snowy Saturday.
Yes, indeed. It is a snowy Saturday, and happy Saturday. Happy first Saturday of spring, although it certainly doesn't look like it out there. But
That's a good
it's
way.
crazy. There's tulips and daffodils pushing up through the snow. It's kind of odd out there.
Mine are covered actually right now. That's
Yeah.
we 'cause yeah, we got quite a bit yesterday.
Yeah, I think you probably got a little more up by the lake there than we did. But hey, I
Mhm.
also today is, as you know, an auspicious day. This is my dad, Paul Robinson's 86th birthday.
Oh,
So
happy birthday.
happy birthday, Dad. So we'll be celebrating that later on. And of course, in addition to it being my dad's birthday, we're in the middle of tax season. And we get a lot of questions, Joanna, this time of year regarding how trusts affect people's income tax filings. And, as we've talked about many times on the show, there are all kinds of trusts and they're done for all kinds of different purposes. They're a tremendously flexible strategy. So if you have a trust, you really need to ask your estate planning attorney how your particular trust impacts your income taxes. But I can provide some general guidance that will apply to most people. And the most common form of trust used in estate planning is a revocable trust, also known as a living trust. And these trusts fall into the category of grantor trusts. And grantor trust is a term used in the Internal Revenue Code that indicates the trust is ignored for income tax purposes. That means that the creator of the trust, the grantor, is treated as the owner of all income generated by trust assets. And so all trust income gets reported on the grantor's personal income tax return, just as it would be if there was no trust. The grantor's social security number can be used as the tax ID number for the trust. There's no new forms or schedules that need to be filed with the income tax returns. And Joanna, that also means that all of the income continues to be taxed at the grantor's personal income tax rate. So pretty straightforward, business as usual. But another fairly common form of trust that's created by people to protect their assets in case they need long-term care, whether that be in a nursing home or in-home care, those trusts are a type of irrevocable trust. And here is where there often is confusion regarding income taxes. Many people, including many professionals, believe that any type of irrevocable trust requires a separate tax identification number and consequently requires a separate income tax return for the trust. And they also believe that income in an irrevocable trust always is taxed at a higher rate than at which an individual would be taxed on their personal return. But an irrevocable trust also can be drafted as a grantor trust. And so everything we just said about a revocable trust still applies. The trust can use the grantor's social security number as its tax identification number. All income still is reported on the grantor's personal income tax return with no new forms, no new schedules, and the trust income still is taxed at the grantor's personal income tax rate. But just because an irrevocable trust can be drafted as a grantor trust does not mean that it has been drafted as a grantor trust. So again, you really need to check with your estate planning attorney with respect to your trust to confirm whether it is or is not a grantor trust.
Well, that is some interesting information. It's a lot of information. So I'm going to chunk it down for myself, maybe for some of the listeners there, Mike. Can you tell me, give me an example of some of the questions that come up about this so that I can understand more what these answers mean? Like what are the things that people ask you?
So, well, one of the big ones is for both, frankly, revocable and irrevocable trusts, but even more so with irrevocable, what is the tax identification number? And in almost every instance, it's the client's social security number. But again, as I was just mentioning, we run into some pushback oftentimes from people's tax preparers or other professionals who insist that if it's an irrevocable trust, it has to have its own tax identification number. And again, that's not true if it's drafted as a grantor trust. Um, Social security number is perfectly fine and frankly greatly simplifies the client's income tax filing.
Hmm, that makes sense. And it's something I guess it's coming down the pike here, right? April 15th. Is that do they
Coming
get
up,
an
what, about 3
extension for any
weeks?
reason? I mean, if they all of a sudden go, "Oh no, I have to do this." Could they get an extension?
Oh, sure. Yeah, you can file for personal income taxes. Actually, for any type of income tax, you can file. The process is different, and the fees are different depending on who's filing. But yeah, if somebody procrastinated, right? We talked about that a few weeks ago.
Mhm.
Then sure, they. But It's not something that you need to sit on, get a hold of your tax preparer, and get things moving. It's going to make your life a lot less stressful.
Yeah, and talking to an attorney that knows what they're talking about, and when you're talking about wills and estate plans, makes a lot of sense, like Mike Robinson or any of the other great attorneys we have in this region. Please just get the right information. That's all we're asking you to do. If you do have a question for Mike, we're live. It's 222-1180, and that's area code 585. If we're on a break or with a guest, Pam can take your question and we'll get back to you. And we're live every week, and it's a great way to be able to connect with people and to be able to bring you information. So we hope you're enjoying this. And Mike, what else is there anything else you wanted to tell people about tax season? Anything else that comes up
Well,
regularly?
yeah, another fairly common question. It doesn't have anything to do with income tax, more on the with property or school tax. People wonder if their home is in a trust, are they going to lose all of their exemptions, star exemption, etc. Again, typically no. That's not going to be an issue.
All right. Excellent stuff. And again, if you want to reach out to Mike, you can go through our website anytime. It's seniorsrecradio.com. Maybe you're up late at night one night and think of a question. You can go right to the website. And if you stay right there, you're going to hear Lauren Getz. She's going to be with us next and tell us how her team gets the job done for anybody needing a hand with everyday tasks. And there's a lot of them. So Lauren will be with us next to tell us all about that. Stay right there.
And welcome back to Seniors Rock Radio. And our first guest this afternoon is Lauren Getz. Lauren is the owner and founder of Everyday Hands, a locally owned business that assists people with daily tasks to keep them safe, healthy, and independent. And today we'll learn how Everyday Hands helps clients and their families with daily tasks. Welcome to the show, Lauren.
Thanks, Mike.
Well, hi, Lauren. Great to hear you and see you today. I know I see you at the GRAPE meetings, and you're very active in that organization, as I said earlier. So we're very thankful for that. And it's so great to have you aboard as a sponsor of the show. So we're going to be hearing more from you as we go through the weeks. But today, I wanted to get started with how you got started. So tell us, if you would, and tell the listeners how you did get started with the Everyday Hands idea and how long ago was that?
So in 2016, I made the decision to leave corporate America. I had been an accountant and a recruiter for my whole life and decided to take a giant leap of faith and started helping my neighbors. I live in West Arundecoit. We have a high elderly population. I believe we have the highest in town in the county. And
Yep.
I just started helping people with just a little bit of help, the everyday tasks, changing bed sheets or take them to an appointment. So in 2017, I decided to incorporate and make it a company. So I've been doing that now I'm going to my 8th year.
Excellent. And I know you have a team with you now. And what do you and the team, I don't know how many you have there, but it doesn't really matter. But tell us about the services that you provide.
So I like to say our unofficial tagline is stunt doubles for daughters and daughter-in-laws. We're doing a lot of the things that people um, that need help with, like grocery shop or take them to an appointment, or just doing some of the littler tasks that pretty much anyone can do. We are the only one in Rochester that offers a 2-hour minimum. So if somebody needs a ride to go get a cataract surgery and we never see them again, we do that sort of thing. So we do a lot of just little one-off tasks, as well as some companionship. So we let the consumer decide what they want. It could be once a week, it could be once a month, as needed. We don't determine that. We work with each client to make the personalized service for them.
Lauren, who do you work with? Who do your clients tend to be?
They tend to be the elderly because that's who needs the help typically. They're typically still in their homes or maybe in an independent living situation, that are still active and able to do things. But for example, one of the tasks that's not in the brochure, but we will scoop cat poop. because if you're in an assisted living or an independent living, you can have a pet, but you need to be able to maintain that pet. The facility won't do it for you. So
Yeah.
we do like those oddball tasks, but we also, while elderly is my primary focus, we will help anybody that needs help. It could be someone recovering from shoulder surgery, or a new mom, or someone who just needs an extra set of hands. Sometimes we'll even help at graduation and weddings that are maybe done in a park or something, to stay behind the scenes. So we really just we help anybody that needs help.
Sure.
Yeah, and you know what I was thinking too, Lauren, there's so many people now, the kids grow up and go away and then they have parents that are still in town. So to be able to offer them that assistance, it's got to be, take a lot of pressure off of them. So that's really cool. And
Yep.
I was going to ask you also, what sets you apart from other companies? I know there's a couple of specific things.
So what sets us apart is that there's a lot of companion care agencies. There's also a lot of people that do it independently or under the table, which I do not endorse because it's just very risky. But what sets us apart is we're more task oriented. If you need something done, we will get it done. If you're looking for someone to sit with your mom 3 hours a day, 3 times a week, we're not the right fit for that, but we have a strong referral base that we will refer you to the right organization. But we're more, I have 6 employees. We are more in the homes, getting things done. We do light housekeeping, which I define as not Cinderella hands and knees cleaning. It's enough to keep you safe and healthy.
Excellent. Now, I'd like to know, what do your clients say? Because I know you get great reviews. What if they say is the biggest value to them? What do you hear from them?
That we've helped them when they didn't need. Most times they don't want the help, and if they do, they think their children will help them. So we have been told time and time again, I wish we had found you sooner. You've been such a big help. I feel so much better not having to ask my family to help me with these little things. I feel like a burden. So I think what it is we're able to just be an extension of the family. We will communicate with the family members. If we take someone to an appointment, we will put them on speakerphone so that the children can
Yeah.
listen in. So all sorts of things. So I think what it is just keeping people healthy and independent for as long as possible.
Excellent. I'm going to have to cut you off here, but I know you're coming back, so that's excellent. Thank you for joining us today, Lauren. And folks, if you would like to get a hold of her, you can go to everydayhandshelp.com. The phone number is 585-270-0710. 270-0710. Everydayhandshelp.com. Stay right there. This is Seniors Rock Radio. We're going to be right back with Lindsay Penrose of Benefit Reps of America. Ooh, that reminds me of that old, headbanging music from the '80s. Anyway, keeping us awake here, Pam. And if you just tuned in, welcome to Seniors Rock Radio. I'm Joanna Palvino, your host, and I'm here with co-host estate planning attorney Mike Robinson and our guest, Lindsay Penrose. Lindsay is a local certified Medicare specialist, and she's licensed with all major insurance companies in the Rochester area. She helps clients take advantage of benefits that they can receive by comparing coverage. And I'll tell you what, she knows her stuff. Lindsay is my Medicare consultant, and one of my favorite things that she does is explain things in terms I understand. So that is a big thing to say when you're talking about some complicated information, and it changes constantly. That's the other thing. She's been with me, not just during sign up time, but also during the year and pointing out things that'll help me. So I feel more confident really in my choices for health insurance, and she's like frosting on the cake, making the right choices with her has saved me money. So thanks for joining us today, Lindsay. Good to see you.
Hi, Joanna. Thanks for having me back on the show.
You're welcome. And how are you today? Anything new?
Oh, I wasn't expecting all this snow, that's for sure. I thought the weather was getting nicer, but what about
Yeah.
you?
Well,
Yes, no
I
idea.
like what you just said about not expecting because sometimes you don't expect what happens with your health care. So being on top of this Medicare, I don't mean to sound like a little commercial here, but I get a segue to that because you give people some important information. And I guess we'll start at the beginning, as we always like to do, and tell them, Lindsay, when you get started with Medicare, it's overwhelming. How do you help someone to begin the process? What's the first step?
So, yeah, Medicare definitely can be very overwhelming. So, I start off by explaining how Medicare is broken down into different letters and they all represent different parts of this coverage. I assist clients with understanding exactly how Medicare works and finding the right match for a Medicare Advantage plan. It is important to understand your coverage choices and choose carefully. How you choose your benefits and who you get them from can affect your out of pocket costs and where you can get your care from.
Very true. And so let's, Lindsay, start taking us through. You mentioned the letters. Tell us, what does Part A represent?
So, Part A Medicare covers inpatient hospital coverage, and there's no monthly premium for this.
Very good. And how about Part B?
So, Part B provides outpatient medical coverage, and this does have a monthly premium of $174.70, and this is administered by the Social Security Administration.
Gotcha.
Wow. Okay. So that's A and B, right? We've covered those two. What about C and D?
So, Part C is an alternate way to receive coverage through a Medicare Advantage plan. This wraps in Medicare Part D, which is prescription coverage. So, Medicare Advantage plans are a way to wrap all of your benefits into one: A, B, C, and D. Medical prescriptions, dental, vision, and my services focus on helping figure out which one would be the best fit. So I look at your medical needs, your prescriptions, and your doctors that you like to see because there's many options out there. So I assist with finding what fits best.
Yeah, and I know because I am using your services and I've been on Medicare for a couple of years and I have never felt clearer about this stuff because I know they send you, like a 2-inch thick book and here you go and here's all your, your services and your information, but I mean, unless you have about a month to read through it, it's hard to understand. So
Yeah,
I think that's what I feel is a big benefit from, using Benefit Reps of America and you, Lindsay, and other folks there that help people with these benefits. Is there anything else that stands out that you feel is a big benefit?
well, Joanna, I definitely agree. They send you that big book and off you go on your own. And you see there's the 1-800 numbers, but you don't really know who to trust to help you. And my services, you can come sit down with me in the office and I can show you everything and the different packets for the different insurance plans. I'll break it all down for you. So you really have a great understanding of what your benefits are. And my main goal for this is to find a plan that's going to be the best coverage with the lowest cost. So you never pay us a penny for your appointment. There is no charge for our service, and we can give you the information and do all the research for you.
And I think, Lindsay, it's important for people to understand just how thorough you are when, evaluating coverages. So I know, for example, you'll look at a medication list and perhaps identify that the client's treating with a physician that they forgot to tell you about.
Absolutely. I can help fill in those gaps. And have a whole list I go through of everything that we need to cover for medical needs. So if you can't get me that information today, you bring it back to me and we finish it up. But at the end of the day, we're going to find the plan that's going to give you the best coverage based on your needs because everyone is different.
Absolutely, and that's what's cool about this, and so are all the plans. I mean, they're all different too, and some of the things you mentioned, I mean, the vision care and I know some of them have cards that you can use, flexible cards. I used mine for something, and I had dinner with someone last night that was saying she used hers for something else. So there's a lot of flexibility and options. So thank you for the work that you do, and for doing it for anybody who wants to stop in to your place. You can go to Benefit Reps of America. They're right on West Ridge Road at 1577. That's right next to the Red Lobster in Greece. And you can pop in there and talk to Lindsay or any of the folks, and they'd be happy to assist you, right? Or you can go to their website, ssareps.com. That's ssareps.com. Anything else you want to share, Lindsay, before we have to go to break?
Well, thank you, Joanna, for having me and letting everyone know where they can receive my services. As well as myself, I have a whole team of employees that do this every day. So come and visit us. We'll be able to get you in and be able to help you out with getting that Medicare coverage.
And tell them about your wonderful phone number. It's a beautiful number.
Yep, our phone number is 585-663-6333.
All right, 585-663-6333. You can call them there. And Mike and I will be right back on News Radio WHAM 1180 and the Seniors Rock Radio Show after the break. Please stay with us. Welcome back to Seniors Rock Radio. Boy, we've learned a lot today. I know Mike and Pam and I have. I'm sure there's some listeners out there thinking the same thing, and we hope to do that every week. So we hope that you'll join us every week. And next week we have a wonderful guest speaker. Her name is Barbara Rubel. She speaks nationally. She's an author, and she's got some terrific stuff to share with us about caregiving and about some other things that you're going to be surprised about. So we'll learn more about that later. Today we learned a lot, and as I said, I think that's one of the things I love about the show, that I learn a lot, and I love having the great sponsors that we have. And one of them is Indoor Air Professionals, and they've taught me a lot. I know I have cleaner air at home because of them, and I got educated about Indoor Air Pros. Uh, Systems and how they clean your air by their pros, and people like Peter Gordon and Hector, who and his crew, and they're all right here in Rochester, and they are ready and willing to come out and help you to get your air cleaned in your home or in your business. And to have max clean air makes a big difference, folks. I'm telling you right now. And you can call Peter and get some education yourself at 427-8020, and that's extension 303. And he is going to be offering, or they are going to be offering until the end of March. You can mention it to him if you want, that you can get 20% off your air duct cleaning. Now, that's a really cool deal, really good deal. And you can get cleaner air. And they're also offering $350 off a medical grade air purifier. So once you get that air cleaned, you can keep it going, right? Don't wait any longer to get you and your family breathing easier and healthier. Improve your indoor air, make a difference, and a dramatic difference in your breathing, your sleeping, and your dusting. As I love that part of it, as everyone knows. So call Peter right now, 427-8020, extension 303. That's 585-427-8020-303, and grab those deals. Mike, how are you over there, waiting patiently?
I'm doing great. Do you do a lot of dusting, Joanna?
Not anymore. I'm not kidding. It was I was complaining. You can ask my husband about the dust in our house. We've been here for about 8 years now, and every year I get really baffled by the amount of dust that was coming in the winter when we shut the house up. In fact, I keep a clean house. In fact, my mother-in-law even mentioned that to me, which I'm very proud of.
Always,
And
always good.
yeah. And so when I have to wipe the back of the stove off every day, and I saw this, like it was almost like furry gray stuff, and that's gone. I mean, gone. And I can go like at least an extra week without dusting, which is amazing. And that's a lot of time. So that's my deal. Yep. I'm
Very
going
good.
on and I'm gushing about this, but it's true.
All
And
right.
yeah, so no, I totally recommend getting those air ducts cleaned, and I got the dryer vent cleaned too, because it's makes your dryer more efficient.
Yep,
How
yep.
about that?
We've done that too. Hey, you want to learn something else? Today
Sure.
is today is National Melba Toast Day.
Ooh, I did not know that.
I didn't even know there was such a thing. I always thought
Was-
there should be a Melba Toast Day, but I didn't know we actually had one.
What is a Melba, by the way? I have no idea.
Melba toast.
Pam. Pam, wait, does Pam know? She's shaking her head no.
So
No idea.
they're almost like crackers. They're fairly dense, very
Oh, they're hard.
crispy, very dry,
Yeah.
very hard. Yeah, and you can load them up with all kinds of goodies. If you want something a little less substantial, it's National Chip and Dip Day as well. So I'll
That'll
throw
go
that
for
one
it.
at you.
I
And
love,
it's
that starts with a B. I don't know if we should say it on there, but that B dip that I think it's onion that we used to have as kids.
oh
Still
right,
love I
right.
still love that. Still love it.
That's good stuff. And it's also National Near Miss Day. So apparently back in, I don't know, 87 or 89, an asteroid passed 500,000 miles by the Earth, which is
What?
considered a near miss. So
Yeah.
it's that day too. So there you go.
Well, again, he's just a font of knowledge, isn't he, Pam? Wake up over there. You never know when I'm gonna call on you, girl. Oops,
There
I
you
shouldn't
go.
say girl
But
because
anyway, it's been another great show, and I hope this snow will probably be gone by the end of next week. I'm guessing. So I'll probably still have to get out and do some shoveling.
yeah, and if you want to get into the mood, you can go to the Home and Garden Show this weekend. It's today and tomorrow at the Rochester Riverside Convention Center, and there'll be lots of things like flowers. It'll make they make the air smell really nice in there, so you do get that spring mood.
That is
And
true.
yeah, and we're going to be talking. Whoops, is that the music already?
It is time for us to roll.
Oh, everyone's nodding yes. So time to roll. What do you have to say there?
Hey, have a great week, everyone. Be well and be kind.
And I'll say what I always say at the end of the show, and I hope they'll join us next week, noon on WHM 1180. And don't forget, everybody you see this week, I want you to say this: Seniors rock.